My name is Arcelia. I was born and grew up in San Jose. When my grandma, she would make us go to church, and my uncle, he's a pastor, but it was in Spanish. So I feel like I understood a lot of it, but I didn't really grasp like all the information or like really knew what he was talking about. It wasn't until like later on, I started getting anxiety, and I started like in high school. I just started getting really bad panic attacks, and a lot of it has to do probably with my childhood or, just high school life, what a teenager can be scared of. And so I did go to therapy, tried to go to therapy. My grandma would always say, you have to go to church, and it'll go away. And not that I didn't believe it, but I'm like, how can going to church just take this away? Actually, when I had my son Andres, I got really bad postpartum depression. And that was like the worst feeling ever, but it was just a feeling that I suffered through anxiety, but depression was something new to me. And so I really felt like I was never going to be able to be like myself again. And I went to therapy, I got the medications and all that, but even the medication wasn't doing its job, I guess, for me. And about a year ago or so, I don't recommend it, but I stopped taking the medication because I felt like I can't let medication just take over my life. I wanted to do it on my own, but it actually got worse. I started like getting really bad panic attacks again, and it was just really bad. And it got to the point where I literally I got down onto my knees, and I said, God, if you exist and you can take this away from me, just take it away. Like I was literally at my knees crying, and I remember opening the Bible, and I was reading Philippians, and it talked about anxiety and how trust on him and just pray on it. I mean, I'm not gonna say it went anxiety, he took anxiety completely, but I did feel like this wave of reassurance of like, I got you, don't worry. And I did say though, God, if you take this away from me, I promise I'll start going to church again. And so that was last year. And then this year, a few months, it started getting better. I'm not saying he took it away completely. No medication though. I started doing my Bible study, started reading more, started doing my scripture. And it was almost Easter, and I was on Instagram, and I saw Tekoa Church about their Easter event. And I'm not gonna lie, I skipped through it, but I think it was like God saying, hey, like, you promised me, it's been 4 months, come on, like, start going to church. And around that time, my grandma had also passed away, and it was a huge she was a huge part of my life. She was basically like my second mom. And my son started asking about death and where do we go? And all I can say is, we'll go to heaven and you'll meet Jesus. And he's like, well, who's Jesus? And, what's heaven? And I could answer a couple things, but I'm like, okay, I think it's time for you to go to church too. So, anyway, I ended up saying, okay, I'm gonna RSVP to this event, and we're gonna go see this church. And I RSVP'd with my sister. I kind of forced her to go, and then we've been going to Tekoa Church ever since Easter. It was amazing. And then I invited all my siblings, which now they all go to Tekoa Church. And I'm not gonna lie, like after that, like after going to church a couple times, like maybe 2-3 services, even my sister was like, wow, like I said, we've gone to church before, but it was more like force. And when you have that will of like, I'm gonna do it myself, I don't know, it's a different experience. At least it was for me. And so it's been since last year, now a year almost. Wow. I have not been on any medication. I'm not saying it's completely gone, but I feel amazing. I have really found what having Jesus as a foundation is. And then I got baptized, and I was super nervous. But when I got dunked into that water and I came up, I felt this weight just come off me. And I've heard other people's testimonies, and not that I say that they're lying, but I'm like, how can that be? Like, I don't understand that. But like when you really do accept Jesus in your heart, and which I did, and I'm never gonna regret that, and I love that I did that. I now know how it feels to just be at peace at some point. And of course I'm not perfect, but my child, they love it. They love coming to church, and I love it.